Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and blessings to the elect out there that's pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. Alright, this lesson is going to be called, Arsareth and the lost tribes of Israel. Alright, because I was doing some research on the topic of that and the Iberian Peninsula and just that time period around like the 1600s, and I stumbled across this guy Antonio de Montezano and also a guy named Manasseh ben Israel. All right, and it really stuck out to me, and without further ado, I'm just gonna read this short little paragraph on Antonio de Montezano. Alright, and it says he also went by the name Aaron Levi, was a Portuguese traveler and a Marrano-Sephardic Jew who in 1644, the 1600s, also keep in mind, from about the late 1400s to, 1600s, 1700s, you had the Spanish Inquisition, alright? And really this was like right at the end of the Spanish Inquisition, but you still had persecution from the basically Edomites to the people. And actually going into this word Marrano, all right, Marranos were Spanish and Portuguese Jews living in the Iberian Peninsula who converted or were forced to convert to Christianity during the Middle Ages, yet continued to practice Judaism in secret. Alright, so, these were Israelites that knew that they're Israelites, on the Iberian Peninsula. Then when Esau came, that he needed an excuse for his ethnic cleansing, alright, and his excuse was, his campaign of destroying, any religious texts opposed to Christianity, and it was, that New Age Christianity that aligned with the Constantinople, the Catholicism. All right. So they were, that's why a lot of the Moors' history and culture were cut off. All right, and even the Israelite heritage in the Iberian Peninsula, is destroyed because Esau came through and it also forced Israelites to keep their customs in secret. Alright, but it says, who in 1644 persuaded Manasseh ben Israel, a rabbi of Amsterdam, that he had found one of the 10 lost tribes of Israel living in the jungles of the Quito province, which is Ecuador. This supposed discovery gave a new impulse to Manasseh's messianic hopes. Manasseh wrote a book about the narrative, The Hope of Israel. In it, Manasseh argued and tried to give learned support to the theory that the native inhabitants of America at the time of the European discovery were actually descendants of the lost 10 tribes of Israel, and they are. Right? It says the book was originally written in Hebrew or Latin around 1648, but its publication in English in 1650 in London caused great controversy and polemics in England. And the word polemic is, a strong verbal or written attack on someone or something. Yeah. So when Manasseh ben Israel, published this book saying, hey, the natives over there in America, they're the Israelites, it caused controversy and, a smear campaign. And when you, let's see, if you click on, whenever you look up Manasseh ben Israel, right? Let's see, I think it's this. I think it's this one. Yeah, it says, after it caused polemics and controversy, right? This included a debate between Edward Spencer and Moses Wall, an MP and a scholar, respectively, on Ben Israel's millennial claims and the manner in which the Jews would be converted. Alright, so, immediately it caused controversy, and the Edomites were, discussing on how to convert the Jews, right? Force Christianity upon them, just like they did with the Jews in the Iberian Peninsula. So straight away, and you have to have eyes to see it, because um the only reason why Esau started supporting this claim was to start campaigns over to the Western world and convert them, all right, to convert the Israelites into that New Age Christianity, all right, because when you read about Oliver Cromwell, he led a ethnic cleansing campaign in Ireland, all right, and so that's the reason why he like halfway supported those claims, but for the most part it was attacked, right? Because Esau is trying to do away with the tribes of Israel, right? And and the reason why, or one of the reasons why they came to this conclusion was this scripture, Ezra's, all right. This is Second Ezra's 13 and 40. It says, "Those are the 10 tribes," and this is an end time vision given to Ezra, and he was writing about it. And in the vision, he saw a multitude being brought to Yahushua, and the angel was explaining to the peaceable multitude being brought to Yahushua. It says, "Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osea the king, whom Salmanazar the king of Assyria led away captive, and carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt." So, after the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes, so to speak, after they were led away captive, they took a counsel among themselves and said, all right, we're going to leave these heathen. It says that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then showed signs of them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth. All right, so that land Arsareth, I looked it up in the Jewish encyclopedia, right? And one of the things that popped up was, the lost tribes, or lost 10 tribes. And when you scroll down to America, you get some heavy information, Yeah, I'm just going to start at this one. It says, according to Manasseh ben Israel, Antonio Montezano deposed in 1644 before the Bet Din of Amsterdam, that while traveling in Peru, he had met with a number of the natives who recited the Shema in Hebrew, or the Shema Yasharallah, and who informed him through an interpreter that they were Israelites descended from Reuben, and that the tribe of Joseph dwelt in the midst of the sea. All right, so in the midst of the sea, that's Cuba. All right, that's Ephraim and Manasseh. People think that we make the 12 tribes sign up like we just pulled it out of our asses. No, man, this is through historic research and linking it up with biblical prophecy. All right, and hey, that's why I think Manasseh ben Israel was a Jake, because when he started doing it, when he got into the history, and he made a published claim that, hey, and he also said that them being scattered throughout the world was a messianic sign, and it is, because the scriptures talk about how Israel was supposed to be scattered throughout the earth, all right? It says he supported their statements by tracing Jewish customs among the inhabitants of Central and South America, the Indians of Yucatan and and the Mexicans rent their garments in mourning and kept perpetual fires upon their altars, and did also the Peruvians. So, and that was a Hebrew custom. Whenever, if you were in a time of mourning and you heard bad news, Israelites would rip their garments. You know, the Mexicans kept the Jubilee. Hey, the Jubilee, man. The year where you forgive all debts. While the Indians of Peru and Guatemala observed the customs of levirate marriage, so they're keeping, the Hebrew Israelite customs of marriage in the scriptures. Manasseh ben Israel therefore concluded that the aboriginal inhabitants of America were the lost 10 tribes. And he was of the opinion that the Messiah would come when the whole world was inhabited by the descendants of Israel. Yup. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, this is no, that's not 28. Slack, yeah. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, even which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Alright, so Israel was supposed to be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Alright? And then the end shall come. And then Yahushua was going to come to gather his elect from the four corners of the earth. Actually, I wanted to get this Deuteronomy 2. This is Deuteronomy 27, 29. 29 and 20. I'll start at 24. 29 and 24. Even all nations shall say, wherefore hath the Lord done thus unto this land? What meaneth the heat of this great anger? Alright, and this is talking about, why all these terrible, horrific things happen to, a certain group of people. Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Hispanics, and, even the Israelites who are scattered throughout the other nations. Horrific things happen to us over and over. It says, then men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of the Lord of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. For they went and served other gods and worshipped them, gods whom they knew not, and whom he had not given unto them. So the reason why we suffer all these things is because we stopped serving Yahweh through his son Yahushua. Alright, it says, and the Lord rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land, Arsareth. Whenever you look up what that word Arsareth means into another land, as it is this day. And when you break down this day in the Hebrew, it means until something changed, which is, the new covenant, of course. When Israel, gets those new bodies. The secret things belong unto the Lord our power, Yahweh Bashim Shai, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. But yeah, the reason why, we were cast off into a faraway land, cast through the four corners of the earth, is because, we went off as a people. But Yahushua will return and gather us. Let me see. It says, the Mexican theory was later taken up by Viscount Kingsborough, who devoted his life and fortune to proving the thesis that the Mexicans were descendants from the lost 10 tribes, published a magnificent and expensive work on the subject, Antiquities of Mexico. So you can probably try to find that. It says 9 volumes too. Kingsborough's chief argument are the Mexicans and Israelites believe in both devils and angels as well as in miracles, and the use of blood of the sacrifice in the same way, namely by pouring it on the ground Also, the high priest of Peru is the only one who allowed to enter into the inner, most holy part of the temple. So it lines up with the Levitical law, man. Their customs that they were keeping were lining up with the Levitical law, and that the Peruvians anointed the ark, as did the Israelites. He also finds many similarities in the myths and legends. Thus, certain Mexican heroes are said to have wrestled with, I don't know, like Jacob with the angel. So, hey, there you have it, man. A lot of similarities. And hey, and this, you also know Esau knows, man. This is written. Our heritage has been written about. They've been keeping it secret, right? And that's also scriptural. Psalms 83. Psalms 83, starting at the first verse, it says, "Keep not thou silent, O Yahweh Bashim Shai," really power. Allahim. The word God in Hebrew is Allahim, which means power, right? Which, is a different topic, but hold not thou peace, and be not still, O power, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So, that was Esau's purpose. When they started hearing that, hey, when they started, when Manasseh ben Israel came out with that book, claiming that Israel was over in Americas, you had you had people immediately started. You had Esau immediately asking and inquiring how they should be converted, and the manner in which the Jews would be converted, meaning cutting off their heritage, by let's make no more Israel their name. Let's call them Christians. Let's not call them Israelites anymore. Let's not call them Jews anymore. Let's start calling them Mexicans. Let's start calling them Native Americans, Seminole Indians. Let's call them Indians. Let's call them black, white, anything but Israel, all right? All these different vain philosophies and Esau forcing his customs. And there's nothing new under the sun, too. Because this is 1 Maccabees 3:48, right? It says, "And laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images." So Esau destroying, our heritage and destroying our culture, such as, paintings and statues. Esau came through and wrecked all of that. Even, in the Iberian Peninsula. A lot of the history of the Moors and even scientific, what is it called? Scientific advances, that's the word. Scientific advances were destroyed. And it wasn't just in the Iberian Peninsula, but anywhere where Jake was. Icons were destroyed. Books were burned. And then Esau would rewrite history and, put themselves in the midst of it. That's why, you see so-called white people, being Egyptians and pharaohs and, every nation under the sun. It's like, what the fuck? Why is Esau everybody? Because Esau is also trying to escape his name. He doesn't want to be Esau because Esau is, prophesied to be done away with. But this is 1 Maccabees 1:11, because it wasn't just Esau trying to it wasn't just Esau, it was also Israelites, because, it explains it. "And those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So, when Jake or Israelites started catching hell from, Edomites, they hold on 1 second, so I can. Once Israelites started catching hell from these Edomites, they were like, man, if we can't beat them, let's join them, which is off. So it says, so this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen. So they joined the heathen. They stopped calling themselves Israelites, stopped keeping the customs, and just latched onto the heathenistic customs. All right, and even in the time of Acts, this is Acts 5, and I'll start at 27. It says, and when they had brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, did we not straitly command you that ye should not teach in this name? And behold, ye have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine, and intend to bring the man's blood upon us. All right, so, even in the time of Acts, Peter and the apostles, they were catching hell for preaching in the name of Yahweh Shai, and then, Peter came back with this response. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than man. The Most High of our fathers raised up Yahweh Shai, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him hath the Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. And they go on to say, I believe, if it be of man, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, down to verse 38. It says, and now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found even to fight against the Most High. So, whatever Esau tries to do, he's trying to, censor our videos, take down our channels, but he can't do anything against the truth because, that's a fulfillment of prophecy. You can't do anything from stopping this word to going and preached among all nations. And on that note, let's get this. This is Matthew 24 and 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So Manasseh ben Israel was right, making the claim that Israel being scattered throughout the whole earth is a sign that, the Messiah is coming. Because, first it had, it says, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountain. Because when Esau, who is the abomination of desolation, and in Daniel it says the abomination that maketh desolate, all right, because he was going to ransack Judah, and the two tribes, the southern kingdom, were going to have to flee out, all right, and they would have to discontinue from their heritage too, all right. So that's why it says, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to his clothes. Let me skip down. Let's see. Yeah. And yeah, I'm going to start at 30. Matthew 24 and 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So, in order to do that, Israel had to be scattered everywhere. All right? And let me grab this too, and I'm going to end it here. But this is Jeremiah 16. I'm going to start at 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. All right, because that's known as the Passover. All right, but that's going to be done away with, really. In verse 15 it says, but the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers. I mean, that's the point. He's going to have a new Exodus, all right, and it's going to be out of the land of the north, which is right here in North America, all right, and also from all the lands whither he had driven them, all right, because again, Israel was scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. All right, so that's the name of the game, man. That's the entire Bible, simply put, is Israel didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, so the Most High punished them, scattered them. They discontinued from their heritage, but then there's an awakening. They remembered who they were. They started, uh, um, calling on the names, worshiping Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and Yahushai, coming back to deliver them from the enemies where they were scattered unto. That's the point, right? That's the mystery of Arsareth and the lost tribes, right? So with that, I hope this video is edifying. And again, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Wakakodash. And again, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and blessings to the elect out there that's pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. Shalom.